Dr. P.R. Jayashree, Assistant Professor, Department of Statistics, Presidency College, Chennai. P.R. Jayashree has done her PhD from Anna University and MBA from Alagappa University. She passed joint CSIR, UGC, National Level Test for JRF and Eligibility Test for Lectureship in Mathematical Sciences. Has also done her postgraduate diploma in Computer Management. She has 17 years of experience in teaching and published 14 research papers in international and national level. Has presented, participated and organized conferences, workshops on SPSS and Torah software. She is a life member of Tamil Nadu Statistical Association and Indian Society for Probability and Statistics. At present, she is guiding 2 research students of Madras University.
Welcome to UGC series on mathematical sciences. Today we are going to discuss about the hypothesis testing, and that a large sample test. So there are various large sample tests in hypothesis testing and we are going to discuss some of them today. We shall discuss on inferential statistics, testing of hypothesis, large sample test, that is Z test, in that test for single proportion, test for difference between 2 proportions, test for means, and some illustrations regarding all these 3 tests, and then I will give you an assignment. So what do we mean by inferential statistics? So we have already seen about the inferential statistics in my previous lecture. We will define once again about it. It is used to decide the characteristics of the population based on the sample study. So we are going to infer about the population based on the samples. There are 2 forms of statistical inference. One we call it as the estimation and the other one is hypothesis testing. Estimation means we are going to estimate some statistical measure based on the sample, which we call it as the sample statistic for the population parameter. So after we estimate it, we are going to test on it and we call that as the testing of hypothesis. That is, testing the sample statistic for the population parameter. The procedure of hypothesis testing are framing the hypothesis. That means you need to frame 2 types of hypothesis. One is null hypothesis and the other one is alternative hypothesis. Based on the sampling distribution, you need to frame the test statistic. Find the calculated value from the test statistic and then compare it with the table value corresponding to the sampling distribution. So based on your calculated and table value, you make inference. That is, if the calculated value is less than the table value, accept the H0, otherwise reject it. So we are going to follow this procedure for a large sample test. So what do we mean by large sample test is, whenever the sample size is greater than 30. So it is not necessary that it should always be 30. It is more or less 100 or 150 or 200, call it as large sample test. We are going to test on the large sample test, test for single proportion, test for difference between 2 proportions and test for single mean. So we are going to assume that the sample is very large, that is greater than 30. So globally it is accepted that if the sample size is greater than 30, we call that test as a large sample test. So we are going to follow all the 5 steps in the testing of hypothesis for all these 3 types of tests. First, we will discuss about the test for single proportion. So what is the purpose of this test? The test is applied for testing the sample proportion with the population proportion. So proportion we also call it as the ratio of the number of respondents to the total number of respondents. Let X be the number of persons possessing an attribute. Then this X by N we call it as the proportion. So as I already told you, we are going to find the sample values, and from the sample values we are also going to find the proportion. That is, we are going to find the proportion of the population that possesses the attribute. To test the null hypothesis, there is no significant difference between the sample proportion and the population proportion. So as I told you, H0, that is framing the null hypothesis, it should always be of no difference. Whereas in your H1, there is significant difference between the sample proportion and population proportion. And for this statistic, always it follows a standard normal variate. If it is a very large sample, that is the sample size is very large, then by the central limit theorem it states that x minus, that is your sampling distribution, minus your expectation of x, that is mean for your sampling distribution, and the standard error of the sampling distribution, if you have this form, that is x minus expectation of x divided by standard error of x for any sampling distribution, follows a standard normal variate. That is, it is a normal distribution with mean 0 and variance 1, and we call this test as a Z test. So for all large samples we have Z test following normal distribution. Now coming to our test, that is single proportion, as I told you, we are going to find whether there is any difference between the sample proportion and the population proportion. I denote the sample proportion as small p and the population proportion as capital P. So small p minus capital P divided by square root of PQ by N. So this is my test statistic for testing the single proportion. Now we will go into our illustration. In a sample of 600 parts manufactured by a factory, the number of defective parts was found to be 45. The company, however, claimed that 5% of their product is defective. So now if you see here, this 5% is my population proportion. That means the company always claims that they have a 5% defective. So whatever be the population size, the company claims that there will be a 5% defective. So this 5% is my capital P, that is my population proportion. Now what I do is I take a sample of 600 parts. So if you see here 600, that is more than 30, it's a large sample test. Therefore I am going to compare this sample proportion with the population proportion. So as I told you, I am going to frame the null hypothesis H naught as P is equal to 0.05, and in my null hypothesis, if you see here, it claims that 5% are defective. So if there are more than 5%, then I would reject my buying habit towards that factory. So therefore my H1 will be P greater than 5%. So as I told you in my previous lecture, that if you have in your alternative P greater than or less than, then it will become a one-tailed test. Now coming to the solution of this, as I told you, H naught is P is equal to 0.05 and my H1 is P greater than 0.05. The sample size here is N equal to 600 and my sample proportion small p is 45 by 600. So if you see the example there, a sample of 600 and 45 is found to be defective. So 45 by 600 is nothing but my sample proportion. So that is why I have mentioned here small p is equal to 45 by 600. And this is my capital P. Capital P is nothing but the factory claims that 5% are defective. Therefore capital P is 5% and capital Q is 1 minus of this P, which is 95%. So 95 by 100. The test statistic, as I told you, it's a Z test. Z equal to modulus of P minus P, that is the difference between sample proportion and the population proportion divided by square root of PQ by N, that is my standard error. So if I substitute these values, that is small p is 45 by 600 minus 5 by 100 divided by square root of 5 by 100 into 95 by 100 into 1 by 600, I get the value to be 2.8, and this value I call it as the calculated value. So I told you, you have to find the table value of Z from the normal tables. So from standard normal tables, you can very well find for the 5% level, the table value of Z is 2.33. So if you compare these two, 2.8 is more than 2.33. That is, your calculated value is more than the table value. Therefore, you need to reject your hypothesis. So if you reject a hypothesis, that means the claim is not valid. So the factory, whatever the factory they have claimed, it is not a valid claim. Coming to the next test. This is test for difference in proportions. So in my previous test, we have a sample proportion and we are comparing with the population proportion. So for example, if you don't know about the population proportion, then what you can do is you can take two sample proportions rather than taking one sample proportion. So by taking two sample proportion, you can test whether those two sample proportions are equal or not. So the procedure is like this. Suppose two distinct populations have to be compared with respect to the certain attribute, and if x1 and x2 denote the number of persons possessing that attribute in the two different samples, that is your n1 and n2 from same population or from two different populations, then the sample proportions will be small p1 and small p2. Now we are going to see whether this population proportion, this sample proportion is equivalent to this sample proportion. That is, I am going to test whether my p1 is equal to p2. The test statistic in this is given by z equal to p1 minus p2 divided by square root of pq into 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2. As I told you, since it is a large sample test, this also follows normal with mean 0 and 1. Here my capital P is nothing but, so we do not know about the population proportion here, we are having only two sample proportion. Therefore my capital P you can find out from the two sample proportions like this, that is n1 p1 plus n2 p2 divided by n1 plus n2, which is a combined mean of two proportions, and Q is nothing but your 1 minus P. P is my population proportion and Q is nothing but 1 minus of my population proportion. So now I got my PQ, I know my N1, N2, I know my P1, P2, you have to find the test statistic Z. So these calculations are carried out for a 5% level of significance, and as I told you, you have to compare that calculated value with the table value. If the calculated is less than the table value, reject your null hypothesis, otherwise accept it. We will see an illustration for this. Before increase in excise duty of tea, 400 people out of a sample of 500 persons were found to be tea drinkers. After an increase in duty, that is excise duty, 400 people were tea drinkers out of a sample of 600 people. So this is my proportion. Using the standard error of proportion, can it be stated that there is a significant decrease in the consumption of tea? So there are two different samples here and two different proportions. Now you can see here, one is the sample size is 500, another sample is of size 600, and my two proportions, sample proportions are P1 is equal to 400 by 500 and P2 is equal to 400 by 600. So now we need to estimate capital P, which is nothing but my population proportion, by using this N1 P1 plus N2 P2 divided by N1 plus N2. So substituting all these values, my N1 and then P1, N2 and P2 in this, I get my capital P as 8 by 11. So if I know my capital P, I can easily find my capital Q, which is 1 minus capital P, and this is 3 by 11. And if you see here, the H naught P1 is equal to P2, that means two sample proportions are equal. There is no significant difference between the two sample proportion. And if you see your H1 here, the tea drinkers after excise duty, that is the number of proportion of tea drinkers before the excise duty is more than after implementing the excise duty. So that means if I have a greater than symbol, it will become a one-tailed test. So here the test statistic is P1 minus P2 modulus divided by square root of PQ by N, PQ into 1 by N1 plus 1 by N2. So now substituting for my P1 and P2, that is 400 by 500 minus 400 by 600, you need to take the modulus of this and then square root of 8 by 11 into 3 by 11 into 1 by N1 value is 1 by 500 plus 1 by 600. We are getting a value to be 4.81. So table value you need to see, and I have fixed the alpha level as 1% instead of 5%. So, I told you that generally the alpha is taken to be 5%, but here I am going to test for 1% level of significance. And for testing the 1% level of significance, we need to find a table value from the standard normal tables Z. And the value for this one tail test is 2.33. We need to compare this calculated value of Z with the table value of Z. So, you can very well see that the calculated value is 4.81, which is greater than 2.33. That means we are going to reject the hypothesis. So, the number of tea drinkers before the excise duty is more than after implementing the excise duty. So, that is what I have here written here. So, it is concluded that there is a significant decrease in the consumption of tea. That means there will be your P1 is greater than P2, that is the proportion of tea drinkers before excise duty is more than after implementing the excise duty. So, that is why there is a decrease in the consumption of tea after the increase in excise duty of tea. Next, we are going to discuss about the testing of significance of a single mean. So, the purpose of this test is to find whether there is any difference between the sample mean and the population mean. So, if you see our previous test, the first test we have discussed about the difference between sample proportion and population proportion, but here we are going to deal with the average value. So, instead of proportion, if you have a mean value, then you can compare the sample mean with the population mean. So, we are going to test the null hypothesis H naught is there is no difference between the sample mean and the population mean, and we are going to find the alternative as mu not equal to mu 2, that is there is difference between sample mean and the population mean. And for this the test statistic under H naught, it is given by Z equal to x bar minus mu naught divided by sigma by root n, and as I told you by central limit theorem, this value, if it is a layered sample test, if your sample size is very large, it will follow a standard normal variate, that is normal distribution with mean 0 and variance 1. And your x bar is nothing but your sample mean. You can easily find your sample mean taking the samples of size n, and this is summation xi by n, and sigma is nothing but your standard deviation. And one more thing I want to implement in this is, if you do not know your population standard deviation, you can very well replace it by your sample standard deviation, and this sample standard deviation is yes, it is in the case of if your sigma is not given. If the sigma is not known, then we can replace the sigma by capital S, and for finding your capital S, you can have the formula as summation of xi minus x bar the whole square divided by n, and n is the sample size. Now, we will have an example for this. A random sample of 400 units is found to have a mean width of 5 centimeter. So, there are 400 units in a sample and its mean width. So, you can find very well find the mean value for that, and it is found to be 5 centimeter. Can it be reasonably regarded as a sample from the large population whose mean width is 4 centimeter and variance is also 4 centimeter? So, now if you see here, we are going to compare the mean width of the sample with the mean width of the population. So, our null hypothesis H naught will be mu is equal to 5 and H1 will be mu not equal to 5. That means mu can be greater than 5 or mu can be less than 5. So, as I told you, if you have a non equal to symbol in your H1, then it will become a two-tailed test. We are given n is equal to 400, that is nothing but your sample size, and x bar as 4 and sigma is equal to root of 4, which is nothing but 2. Sigma squared is 4, therefore sigma is equal to square root of 4, which is 2. Now, coming to our test statistic, Z is nothing but modulus of x bar minus mu divided by sigma by root n, and the denominator term is nothing but the standard error of the sampling distribution, and here the sampling distribution is nothing but our x bar, and sigma by root n is nothing but 2 divided by square root of 400, which is 2 by 20, which is 1 by 10. Now, substituting the standard error in my formula for the test statistic, I will get modulus of 4 minus 5 divided by 1 by 10, which is equal to 10. So, if you see your calculated value of Z, that is nothing but 10, and this 1.96 is nothing but Z value of the standard normal variate, which is Z critical at 2-tailed test at 5% level of significance. So, for a 5% level of significance, the normal distribution value is 1.96. So, I need to compare the calculated value with the table value. So, my calculated value is greater than table value, we are going to reject the null hypothesis H naught. So, we can conclude that the given sample cannot be regarded from the given population. So, it is not from the same population, that is your sample mean is not equivalent to your population mean. We will recap what we have done in today's lecture. Now, first of all, we have seen about the testing of hypothesis, and as I told you, hypothesis is, there are 5 steps in the hypothesis: framing of null and alternative, and then framing your test statistic, comparing the calculated and the table value, and then writing the inferences about the problem under study. And we have discussed about the large sample test, which we also called as the Z test. So, the large sample test is whenever your sample size is greater than 30, we call those tests as the large sample test. We always have a Z test or a normal test for the large sample test. Under a large sample test, we have seen about test for single proportion, test for difference between two proportions, and test for single mean. In test for single proportion, what we have done is we have compared the sample proportion with the population proportion. Also seen the test statistic for the single proportion, that is testing the sample proportion and the population proportion. Next, we have seen about the difference between two proportion. So, whenever the population proportion is not known, then we can test the difference between two proportion by taking two different samples from the same population, and then we can test whether those two proportions are equal or not. So, in that case, we have seen the test statistic, we have compared two sample proportions, and then we have seen whether those two sample proportions are equal or not. So, you can also test for the two proportion as whether these two proportions are equal. That is, if these two proportions are equal, you can also state that it comes from the same population. So, either you can test by using two different sample proportion and then finding the difference between them, or you can take two sample proportions from the same population and you can see whether those two proportions are same or not, so that it comes from the same population. So, either way you can test for the difference of two proportions. And then we have seen the test for single mean, where we are comparing with the sample mean and the population mean. So, here to test the sample mean is equivalent to the population mean, and then we have seen the test statistic for this one. We have compared the calculated and the table value, and then we have discussed about this with an illustration. Now, I have two different questions for you to answer, and you need to find out what type of test from these two questions. Question number 1. Random samples of 400 men and 600 women were asked whether they would like to have a flyover near their residence. 200 men and 325 women were in favor of it. So, you can see that there are segregation in the population with 200 men and 325 women. So, we need to test the equality of proportion of men and women in the proposal. So, you need to take your sample size, two different sample sizes and two different proportions, and you need to calculate the test statistic for the proportion of men and women in the favor of the proposal. So, what you have to do in this is you need to take two different proportions and you need to find whether those two proportions are same or not. So, as I told you, in the difference of proportion, you are taking the mass, that is the population or the people into consideration, where you have a single population and we segregated as men and women in this. So, whether those two segregation, that is the gender wise, whether there is any difference in that or not by using the proportion test. So, you have to look into the difference between proportion between men and women in their favorism towards building the flyover or not. Now, coming to question number 2, you have a random sample of 45 males with the mean height of 79 kilograms. Do these data support that the assumption of a population mean weight is greater than 100 or not? We are going to compare the population mean weight of 100 with the population mean weight of 79. So, as you see here, we are going to compare two means, that is the sample mean and the population mean. So, you carry out a large sample because it is 45 males and therefore, it is greater than 30. We carry out a test for single mean. Thank you for watching this lecture.